Today's banquets may have elegance, but can they rival the grandiosity of medieval feasts? It's Chronicle Canvas, and today, we're time-traveling through feasts. Buckle up for a tasty journey through the ages. Ready? Let's dive in. Banquets during the European Middle Ages were often given on such important ecclesiastical feast days as New Year and Pentecost. But the greatest ones for which we have records were given for weddings and the coronation of kings or installation of bishops. There were also banquets for funerals, the coming of age or knighting of a son, or such lesser occasions as a harvest, the feast day of the patron saint of the local parish guild, various civic occasions, or even a tournament. Who was invited depended on the circumstances. Wedding guests were apt to be family and close friends, as today, but many people of quite humble status would be included in festivities at a manor house. What is most striking to the modern eye about the menus for important banquets is the number of dishes served. An extreme example is the banquet celebrating George Neville's installation as Archbishop of York in 1465, which had a first course containing 17 dishes, a second with 20, and a third with 23, not counting the subtleties discussed below. 3 was the normal number of courses for the high head table at an English banquet, 2 for lesser guests. At the coronation feast of Richard III, there were 3 courses for the high table, 2 for the lords and ladies, and 1 for commoners, who included the Lord Mayor of London. Those lower in rank not only got fewer courses but also were served smaller portions. Only the host and any exceptionally high-ranking guest got an individual serving. Other high-ranking guests shared dishes, messes, usually 2 to a mess. If there were lower-ranking guests, as there would have been at a manor house, they were more apt to dine 3 or 4 to a mess. Sometimes those of higher rank were so served, to judge by a German banquet scene showing a number of crowned ladies at the side tables being served 4 to a mess. This does not mean that those at the high table ate all they were offered. The lord or lady of the house was expected to give some of the choice dishes to others. The 13th century household rules for the Countess of Lincoln, attributed to Bishop Robert Grosseteste, advised that her dish be so refilled and heaped up, especially with the delicacies, that you may courteously give from your dish to right and left to all at high table, and to whom else it pleases you. The 15th century Latin poem Modus Senandi tells us empty plates are to be brought to the host so that he may distribute delicacies to others, and many recipes tell us to allow a whole chicken for a lord but only a quarter for commoners. Speaking about service order, there was soup or other pottage to start with, followed by meats on a meat day, with the more commonplace boiled or roasted meat and fowl first. On a fish day, there would be salt fish. More delicate items, such as roasted wild birds and fresh fish, came next, along with other dishes. Then sweet or richer foods including tarts and fritters. French banquet menus varied in the number of courses, but the basic model seems to consist of 4 courses. The first course was much like an English first course, except that it excluded roasts. Roasts, with some accompaniments, came in the second course, and more elaborate dishes, entremets, in the third. Any or all of these courses might consist of only 1 or 2 dishes, as is the case with one of the ménagères menus for wedding feasts. As in England, the French last course, dessert, usually included sweet dishes and or fruit, although it might also contain meat or fish dishes we would not consider dessert today. Italian banquets ran to more courses, 8, 10, and sometimes 20 or more courses, generally with 2 or more dishes in each. Sometimes they began with pasta dishes, but otherwise the order was much like the French. Soups and meats and sauces preceded roasts. German banquets also ran to a good many courses, but most of them consisted of a single dish. The menu order, however, does not give the complete order of the banquet. The first thing given to all diners was water and a towel for washing hands, usually before they were seated at the table. They were seated strictly according to rank at tables which, for a large banquet, were arranged in a U shape. The host and especially honored guests sat at the head, high table, and the others at the side tables. The nearer a guest was placed to the host, the greater the honor. The principal salt cellar, often a very elaborate affair, was placed at the host's right hand, hence the saying that others sat below the salt. Salt for general use was distributed in piles on pieces of bread that served as individual salt cellars. On the table, guests would find bread, and often a knife, a spoon, and a napkin, but not a fork. Fingers or pieces of bread were used to pick up food not eaten with a spoon. Anyone who has seen medieval pictures of banqueting scenes will have noticed musicians almost invariably present, blowing fanfares to herald the beginning of a course, or playing to entertain the diners while they eat. Other entertainers might include minstrels, jugglers, mummers, or players putting on a pageant or interlude, a form of theatrical entertainment referred to in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. This poem is also one of many sources of evidence that the guests themselves did a lot of singing and dancing. Thanks for joining our medieval feast journey. Like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts. Until next time, it's Chronicle Canvas, urging you to stay curious and keep exploring history together. See you soon.